right, welcome to the first Fire Analytics meeting for 2026. So, yeah, big year for us. We have plans. I see we've got a couple of new names, potentially faces. I don't know if you would like to introduce yourselves. I see Gail and Nick. I believe you're new too. So, if you'd like, would you like to introduce yourselves to the group?
Sure. I'm Gail Winters. I'm with HCA Healthcare. We are a very, very large healthcare provider in the United States with over 300 hospitals and thousands of outpatient ambulatory clinics. We're very interested in this effort, and I want to see, what we can do with it and do a presentation here at HCA and see how we can start employing it for our own, internal ventures and projects. I'm an interoperability consultant here. I'm actually an employee, but my my job title is actually interoperability consulting specialist. I've been working with FHIR, I guess, for about 6 years. I've worked on Da Vinci, burden reduction a lot is where I'm working now. I priorly worked on clinical reasoning and some of the stuff over there, and I used to work on the Codex Accelerator, leading a use case for that. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a registered nurse. I'm also a clinical informaticist, but my background before that was Java development and stuff like that. So I'm more technical than CIs usually are. Okay, that's more than enough, I'm sure.
Terrific. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for joining, Gail. Yeah, super interested and super excited to have you be a part of the group. And yes, we'd love to be able to share the work we're doing and definitely the use cases that, a large organization like HCA has, which are, I'm sure, many. So I see that we had Nick, but maybe not. We have someone, I don't know if you want to go off mute and introduce yourself. Totally fine if not. You can just be listening in. All right. So just to kick things off, I thought what we could do is, not a problem. Whatever you feel like it, just post in the chat. So I think it would be a good idea. We don't have to start now, but yeah, just a clean house. I see John has already started. Nikolai's already started a little bit cleaning up some of the tasks that were kind of outstanding. We can go through some of the specifics, but I think that's a good impetus to have. So just put that aside for a second. Just on the major projects we have outstanding, maybe get a quick update from you, John, on how we're doing with HL7.
Sure. So there's a two-step process. There's a project proposal, which is where it kind of, you just give an idea of what your project's like and get the green light to go ahead and do a statement. So we've already been through the proposal stage and that's been approved. And now we've put in a statement and then they sort of QA that and then they put it on the agenda for the relevant working group to consider. So it's been kind of QA'd and now I believe it's on the agenda for the FHIR working group to actually talk about it during whenever their next meeting is that they have time to talk about it. So that's where we're up to.
Terrific. And have you or Nikolai been joining the FHIR meetings? Nikolai, you have, right?
Yeah, I'm joining.
Okay.
So we didn't discuss it this Monday, and I think the next Monday will be skipped because there's some holidays in US. And Graham has some, but yeah.
Okay, so we'll.
I will report if something happened.
Right. So they're on Mondays. So sometime around maybe 2 weeks, you can give us an update on how that's going.
And maybe it's even better to ask Gina to help us with that because Gina sometimes leading this meeting, so that would be very natural.
Sorry, what was that?
Gina leading like every second FHIR meeting, so it will be very natural.
Okay. I mean, I think for us, for the group, as long as I think it's called proposal has been vetted, it's in the queue. I think that's all we need for right now. And then I'm sure Gino will let us know, or you or Gino can just let us know if there's anything we need to do further along.
I think first we have to create an issue for that in the Jira ticket. Do we have a Jira ticket for that? No?
We have one for the PSS, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we do have our Jira ticket.
If you can send me, I can put it in agenda at the next meeting at the top.
okay.
Yeah. They have some filters, and the ticket they're working, they should be like in these filters. But I probably can put it manually to the list.
Okay.
I will add it to my to-do.
So this is the PSS. And that's what we need, right? This is the next step. The PSS.
That is my best understanding.
Okay. Well, the other one had, I was just looking at it, I don't know where it went, but it, has the like comments from the other working groups. I think those are all.
Yeah, so some other, so I think that's CQI, that's why CQI and security are on this one. So they're the other interested parties. So it kind of goes out to everybody. Are you interested? And that's what came back. So then in the second phase, those other working groups kind of get registered as interested parties. Now, I don't exactly know what that entails, but Gino's had a look at this and he said it looks all fine. So,
okay.
And it has been sort of QA'd by the admin process. So there's a step before this WG approval, I think, that somebody has a look at it. So I think it should be okay. But Nikolai, yeah, I'll see if I can join actually in 2 weeks' time, just to kind of get a feel for everything. That should be okay. I think it's at this same time, isn't it? But like yesterday.
I believe so. 3:00 on Mondays. Okay, that sounds good. It sounds, and Gino, I'm sure will let us know. So we'll look for an update in about 2 weeks. Other kind of big bucket projects. So is there any outstanding work on the spec that we want to talk about, other than potentially the ones, we don't have to get into it, but like any kind of big picture work we think on the spec, other than the specific tickets we have right now currently? Any kind of like bigger ideas about the spec that we might need to do, maybe some infrastructure on people's minds?
Yeah, on top level, I think somebody should work on the query page. I can try to do it because it's kind of important, yeah. Introduction, and maybe it should be the part of the intro and so on. Then we need the maybe operation for the query resource as well. Otherwise, yeah, and we should think about other operations. So we have now run an expert. And we discussed a few other operations. So at least from our team, there was a request about materialization, like continuous expert, something like that. So we probably should decide how we're going to introduce in this release this continuous expert or something like that. And then we discussed, I suggested the top level operation when you just throw into the server queries, view definitions, and all this stuff, and getting report eventually. Yeah, so it's like bulk expert, but like let's say bulk like asynchronous report. You're just giving everything to the server, and you say do it as you can. We probably we have to decide, are we going to implement this in this release, or what do you think, guys? So you should skip it.
Right. I'm actually rebuilding my my to-do list. So I'm going to start from scratch. Totally fresh year. So, so all those recurring tasks you guys can just forget about. We're going to start completely fresh. So from the spec perspective, I think work on the query resource, work on the intro, right? And kind of merge in. We want to kind of cohesive sort of story all the way flowing down to the query resource. I think we've talked about that. And then the materialize / continuous export, right? We discussed that. And then the last item you mentioned, that's like the kind of what was I calling it? Something like the analytic case. Like you send this bundle almost, right, of the scheme of the query, potentially more than that. Is that the concept you're thinking of? And then you synchronously get back a report.
Yeah, it's something probably similar to what guys in SQL doing. Yeah, like just get the report. Yeah,
Okay.
Provide all these library resources, ViewDefinition queries, and get back the report.
Mm-hmm.
We can try to align this with what the SQL guys, FHIR guys doing, or maybe we can, but they quite limited. Yes, so I'm not a expert in it. Maybe we should talk with the guys what they can return as the answer. Yeah, because we can return anything, the results of the query, yes, and they can just return like denominators and so very limited set of stuff. Maybe they have some extensions of how to return everything. I don't know. Maybe Arjun, you can ask.
You get measure report is one of the, yeah. So
and what the content of the measure report? So could it be result of just query or something like that, or it should be a few numbers?
In the measure execution context,
Yeah,
I forget the details, but the output is of executing the measure report. So that's going to be, I think, a little bit of a design process. Maybe we can schedule some time to kick around some ideas specifically around that, how we want to design that API. So
maybe we can invite Brian, so maybe he will spend with us some time and we can discuss.
Yeah, I can ask Brian to join.
Another big topic, to be honest. So I already start talking to Josh. We will have a meeting this week about the synchronous pattern and how we can unify it. So if anybody interested, the time will be good, so I can invite other guys. So we still not yet decided on time, but it's probably Thursday or Friday, something like that.
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
Yeah, me too, Nikolai. If you post it, I'll try to. I'm flying on Friday, but I'll try to make it.
It's hard to catch the Josh, so I will post the time. Josh will give us, and then Okay, good.
All right. Good. So async pattern alignment. Okay. Good. So I think sounds like good coverage of the kind of core spec work that we have in front of us. Touching on some of the other bigger projects, just checking in with you guys if anything has progressed in the past couple of weeks. FHIR to OMOP. Any news there from your end?
Yeah, I have news. We have quite serious company now, which is really interested in this work. So finally, we were waiting for another team, but this team is really serious. So, and I even hope that in a few weeks we can kick off the meeting. So we will. So.
Okay.
It's I probably can name it. It's a data art. It's a big outsource company. And we discussed that, they're ready to start contributing and drive that stuff.
Excellent. Good. And then I'm sure when that kicks off, then we'll do an announcement and sort of recollect some of the people we know who are interested in that.
Yeah, because I think there's a waiting list for the people who want to join.
Are they doing that in an open source format, Nikolai?
Yeah, sure. So the idea, at least, I don't believe that we can do the whole transformation with the current SQL and FHIR. At least we can do like a couple of first steps.
Do
Like
you know what the tech
flattening.
stack they're going to use for it is?
Yes, and we want to publish these view definitions, yeah, and make it as open source project.
I think Craig was asking about the tech stack.
Yeah, the tech stack, it's gonna be based on SQL and FHIR, so any SQL and FHIR compatible engines can be used. So
All right.
there will be definitely not enough, especially if because of terminology, not enough. We don't have like to do the whole transformation. Then maybe the second phase gonna be a DBT or like ELT style transformation. Let's see. So how it can be done. But the first step, like flattening FHIR and like preparing it for the transformation, is gonna be SQL and FHIR based. As well, we discussed that potentially that this idea like that maybe we need to create some kind of profiles on FHIR resources. What can be translated to OMOP, or we can create a profile which definitely can be translated to OMOP. Yes, so but let's see. That could be another result of this working group. So we can create like OMOP profiles, and if your observation conform to these OMOP profiles, we know that we can convert to the OMOP.
Have we talked about extensions or like custom elements to view definitions? Is there a standard way to do that? Like if there's a feature that doesn't exist in the spec that you want to add some sort of tagging to your view definition for a particular runner, does that exist already?
I think we have a text. Yeah. What kind of feature are you looking for?
Like if you added your own support for terminology lookups that's not in a view definition, but you wanted to put it into the view definition as like an extension so your view runner could read that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I hope when we get to that point we will add it. Yeah. So if you have in mind any like use cases here or something specific here, please share with us. So
Yeah, I'll go back and revisit. I'd enumerated out at one point what the gaps were, and this was 2 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
You know, to get there, to be able to do OMOP. I haven't followed you guys as closely the last year and a half, so I don't know which of those may have been covered up by now. But
well, we still don't have terminology as a part of SQL and FHIR.
Yeah.
Yeah, not specifically, Craig, but definitely as that subgroup starts kicking off, please come and be a part of it. Maybe we could review the work you did previously, because it's been a little while. So definitely, join and definitely help contribute, which I know you have in the past. So we'd love to see that again.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's FHIR to OMOP, sort of TBD, kickoff TBD. And then what else do I have? Parquet on FHIR. Any movement there? I know obviously John, you and Bashir, but any, kind of movement? Are we looking at any momentum around, kicking anything off in terms of a subgroup?
Not yet. I've actually kind of changed focus to the API stuff just because I wanted to do that at the same time as you guys were doing it, and I've made a lot of progress on that and done a full implementation of run and export and all that sort of stuff. So I kind of deferred the Parquet stuff, and I feel like our planned release, I kind of feel like we should focus on that first. So the API, the query, all of that stuff, and maybe Parquet falls into whatever's beyond that.
Yeah, I agree.
Can't really do everything at once.
We're a very small team. Yeah, I just wanted to check in to see if there was any movement there, but if not, that's totally fine. I'll put that sort of on hold.
And I know, John, you are working with our engineers with the View Builder. Yeah, how is the progress? Was you able to run it on top of your engine? You muted, John.
Let me give you a high-risk demo.
Yeah,
Oh
let's
no.
do-
Okay. All right, go for it.
So need to go into here. So for those of you who don't know, this is the aid box SQL on FHIR builder / query runner thing. So I should be able to just go into one of these. And I had to not only implement ViewDefinition run, but also, fully support ViewDefinition as a resource in the CRUD functionality, the API, and be able to create one and read one and all that sort of stuff. But it all works as far as I can tell. So this is run. So the other thing that I'm doing is we've created a new sort of server product that is kind of rebuilt from the ground up, basically, and around sort of SQL on FHIR and bulk data ecosystem type use cases. So we also have got export. So we've sort of implemented bulk export, a couple of different flavors of bulk import, like import, ping and pull. We've got an experimental implementation of the bulk submit, which is the new thing that Argonaut is working on. And we've also implemented SQL on FHIR, run, and export. So we can sort of load view definitions in, we can run arbitrary view definitions, and we can export. I was actually just trying to play around with my previous promise to create a code system based example for repeat, but if we go to some other thing, I should be able to export that as NDJSON, and that will kind of poll and export in a similar way to bulk export, and we should be able to see that we've got like an NDJSON with the results of the SQL on FHIR view there. So I haven't quite released this yet. In fact, I'm going to release it probably in the next week. We've got a little bit of a demo server up at demo.pathling.app, which we used for the bulk submit connectathon just before Christmas. And we successfully participated in that with their reference implementation and Epic and all of that. So yeah, we've done lots of work on this API stuff, and that's what and I came up with some feedback through that process as well, which is those tickets that I put into the suggestions for the agenda. So yeah, that's a quick lightning demo for you.
Very nice. Yeah, looking really good.
It's awesome.
And yeah, it's great. And moving forward, helping out bulk submit too, our friends there. Yeah, excellent. Cool. So in terms of the agenda, so I've gone through some of the bigger buckets. I should mention our friend Jim is not here this week. He was going to give us a little bit of an overview of the Rural Health Initiative here in the US, which is a pretty large source of funding that he's particularly interested in, seeing how some of our work might align with it. So he let me know he wasn't able to make it this week, Jim Taylor, but he will probably be here next week, give us a little presentation on that. So starting to think a little bit about use cases that could potentially be relevant for that area. So just wanted to mention that. And then, so that's all pretty much I had, other than we can go through, I think, some of the feedback and proposals that John laid out for us, unless you guys have anything else. That was kind of like the housekeeping portion, but we can get into some more detailed work if there's nothing else. Okay. All right. So starting us off here, we have, I'll just start from the top, John. Rename $export operation to view definition -export to avoid conflict with bulk data export. That's number 304.
Yeah, the pull request already on GitHub. So John, you can accept it if you want.
Terrific. PR is already.
Okay, awesome.
Check that one off. Next one, 305, add header parameter to control CSV header row in export operations.
Yeah, so I just noticed this one is kind of missing a bit because, yeah, how do you know whether to deal with the header row? And yeah, so I just thought maybe this would be prudent to add this as an extra parameter.
Yeah, should it be top level parameter or like per view definition? I think top level is enough. Yeah. So like if you're exporting multiple CSVs, you want all of them with headers and none of them. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think you could individually control if you wanted to.
Yeah, I can do this.
Okay, so I'm just going to say group. We're gonna actually document things this year. This is my annual. What do you call it? New Year's goal, New Year's resolution. Next one, operation endpoint definitions need corrections for $export and $view definition run. So that's 303. Yep, thanks for putting it on. Let's see here.
I think this might just be an error. So in here, you can see that this is like canonical resource.
Yeah, this is not an error. This is a hack which was suggested by Graham. Otherwise,
because of the operation definition.
Yeah, because it should be existing resource type and the view definition not yet existing resource type. There is a hack if you look at the fish definition. So there is a special field which says that it is view definition resource, but the view definition not in the code system of resource types. So, and this is a hack which was suggested by Graham. And I think
this is for R4 compatibility, right?
It's for IG builder compatibility because there is no way now to build it. If I put in a fish, there is no resource type view definition, so I could not define for operation that stuff. So, and if you jump there, somewhere there should be a hint which saying it's not just canonical; it is a view definition. If you jump to the fish file on a repo, there is a special type which saying that this is fish operations, yeah, and look for view definition.
It's there.
Yeah.
19, line 19.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, like, so that's all good, but it's just probably a little bit confusing in the documentation. So I wonder if we can further hack the documentation so that people, when they're reading this, don't.
Yeah. And I think that Graham created a special extension, and I was waiting to support an IG builder. We probably have to ask Graham one more time. So we want to see here the view definition, instead of
investigate whether we can use Graham's extension to further improve the documentation. Is that all right?
Yeah. We probably have to create requests to Graham. Yeah, I will find I forgot months ago. So I was talking with Graham. He said that this is the first step we can do, just point to canonical, because we're going to inherit from canonical. And then there should be special extension, which will say that this is a really view definition resource, not just a canonical. Yeah. And after that, the IG builder should render the view definition for us instead of canonical. But yeah, we have to talk to Graham, and I have to restore the context for that.
Okay, I'll put in the assignment there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm giving that one to you.
Yeah.
John is doing my job for me. Awesome. Cool. All right. So Nikolai, you have that as a task to ping Graham. Next one is 292 join function expectation conflicts with FHIR path tests. That sounds nerdy.
Yeah, this is a pain. So the FHIR path reference implementation tests have a different interpretation of the join function to the FHIR path, to the SQL and FHIR tests. So I feel like we probably want to update the SQL and FHIR test. It's when you give join an empty collection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I think the FHIR path test suite expects that it will return
Empty collection. Yeah.
empty collection, and test suite
And this is
comes
interesting.
back with string. Empty
And it's
string.
an interesting question for us, how we treat the empty collection. Is it null for us, or we should say first and then it will become null? So because what is empty collection for us, especially if we're expecting primitive string, for example, here.
I believe in our other areas it is null.
It is null, yeah. Okay, then maybe we have to put it into documentation as well. Yeah, if it's empty collection, then it should be null. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we clarify what the representation of an empty collection is?
And resulting row column, yeah.
For my context, how does this conflict with the FHIR path test suite? So, I mean,
so we should put not empty string. Yeah.
I mean, it's a semantic difference. It's not like this doesn't show up as an error in our test suite, right? It's just a semantic mismatch, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's string still different from null.
Well, yeah. No, I get it. But
the only reason it doesn't show up as an error is
null is also from empty collection. No, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if this wasn't a string, so we need a consistent representation of empty collection regardless of data type. So I think Pathlink fails our SQL and FHIR test for this currently because, we return an empty collection, which would return a null in the view result.
Yep.
But I don't think it makes sense to have a string actually, because, well, not only does it kind of break the Well, in FHIR we also have the principle that if you pass a function empty collection, you get an empty collection. So that's kind of consistent behavior on pretty
in
much
most
all
of
functions.
stuff, the empty collection is propagated through any functions and all this stuff.
Yeah.
There are only few functions which do not do that.
Okay, so concretely, essentially, we need to make a decision what the representation of empty collection is for us.
And it should be null, I agree. So we should follow the FHIR path. And it's a little bit breaking chain here. I don't know, Steve, are you?
How is this?
How are you?
I was just reading what we have for under get reference key. There's a sentence in there that says the get reference key function will return an empty collection, parens, effectively null, since FHIR path always returns collections.
Yeah.
So if that's true, all of these results are there due to a FHIR path expression, right? So the empty collection is defined in here as open brace, close brace. So that would be kind of weird, though, to have a bunch of open brace, close brace elements every time we really want to null.
Yeah, that's why we use a null. So
Right.
like we could actually, so there's a few different ways you could represent an empty collection. I mean, for engines that support it, you could return an array maybe. But you could, the only one that really makes sense, I think, especially if you're talking like supporting a variety of different engines, is null. Now, I guess if you want to talk about CSV particularly, you could map that onto there. But I think in the spec, we really map things onto SQL, like ANSI SQL, right? So we sort of say these are the data types that expressed in ANSI SQL data types that things should come out as. And I think this is the same, right? We're saying that if there's an empty collection, in terms of ANSI SQL, that's a null in the result. Now, if you want to create some sort of implementation specific sort of view of that, then you really are looking at how do you represent the ANSI SQL types. And to me, null is really the only one that makes sense.
There's some tricky situation if you put collection true. So then it is hard to distinguish like null and empty collection. So because in FHIR you could not distinguish null and empty collection, because empty collection is propagated like null. So you don't know, is it really empty collection? So you did filter and get the empty collection, or you're having null, like existing element and so on. So then we should think if collection true and we have an empty collection, what should be returned? Because in ANSI SQL, they're arrays, so data type.
The zero-sized array.
Yeah. So, and then that's
I
a
mean,
tricky situation,
in pathling under the hood, we really have like a flat mode and an unaltered mode effectively. So if you wanted to have like run a ViewDefinition and potentially get structures and arrays back, you technically can do that. But if you want a flat, easy to use thing that you can export to things like CSV and all that sort of stuff, there's kind of a transformation that goes on to kind of do that, and that also involves like the conversion of things like empty an array type into like potentially null. But that's just how we've kind of interpreted it.
So you're suggesting that even if it's collection true, it's still gonna be null, not an empty collection.
Yeah, I guess depending on the capabilities of the engine and the user preference that they've expressed maybe out of band for what they want out of the result. Yeah. But what they put in the view might be at odds with that, right? So maybe if you ask for collection true, but also ask for like a flat view or something, well, maybe that's an error.
Mhm.
I'm not sure off the top of my head. Maybe we'll have to have a bit more of a think about it.
And still, for that change, we should probably make in a release, make it in a release note that it's potentially breaking change with our previous.
Yeah.
version. We kind of
Yeah,
fixing
that's
bug.
right.
It is a breaking change, so the people have to go and fix their engines if they try to make this test green. Yeah. And
Yep.
we probably need a new page with the change log. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that these implementations have just implemented the join function to return
Custom join
an empty
function.
string.
Yeah, yeah. And we forced them to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, maybe let's start up a Zulip thread for this one.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And maybe invite all implementers to discuss that. How we gonna treat it.
Yeah.
And maybe Brian too.
Yeah,
He's thought a lot about the join stuff's relatively new, right? In FHIR?
no, it is not very new.
No?
I think it
No?
was
Okay.
almost since the beginning. Yeah,
Is
but
it? Okay.
but understanding how the empty collection is propagated, I say it's still maybe. I think it was almost since the beginning. So the empty collection should be propagated.
But I don't know if that. So if I go to FHIR normative,
There is no join.
there's no join, right?
Really?
This is why. So the other thing that we should fix is that we have a leak between. We have this experimental tagged test for join.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have some join tests in the non-experimental part.
Mm.
And the reason that these are in the experimental part is because join is not in the normative spec.
Oh, it's really there's no.
So this is the edge spec. If the input is empty, the result is empty. I mean, it's kind of a little bit ambiguous, the wording anyway. Maybe it should say the result is an empty collection, just so that we don't interpret that as an empty string. But yeah, so maybe the other action is to kind of rationalize the join tests so that they're at least in the same spot within the suite so that we can manage the tagging of them in one place as well.
If the other thought is if the output of all these expressions are the result of a FHIR path expression, I just wonder how many other spots, at least in our code, in our implementation, where we sort of massage the output to expect, to pass the test, and there might be other areas where we need to be true to the FHIR path result.
I don't think, from what I've seen, I don't think there are any other areas for this particular problem with the empty collection. But yeah, I take your point that there could be other things for sure. But so in our implementation, we run all the SQL and FHIR tests and all the FHIR path tests as well. I mean, we don't pass all the FHIR path tests, but we've kind of done that specifically to kind of pick these things up. We also run all the FHIR path expressions in the FHIR spec for search parameters as well. So we run all those three things and try and get a full picture of consistency across those things. But yeah, we just noticed this one.
Yeah, we do the same. We've been participating on I think this was Wednesday calls, and that Brian leads. And there's been some changes. There's every week there's, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 changes to FHIR still. We try to keep on top of. Sometimes we're not totally on top of it yet.
Yeah, every single thing we don't pass in the FHIR spec, we actually have an associated issue or a note or a reason,
We do.
documented reason why we don't pass that. So we've actually gone through the entire test suite quite closely.
Yeah. What I'm saying though is it's still changing, that test suite. There's a delay in getting them approved versus into the test suite. So it's there's still changes there.
Okay, so decision here is start a Zulip thread on what we want to do with the output, how we want to represent the output, correct?
Yeah.
For the spec, I think we need explicit statement that the empty collection should be null. At least if column not true, yeah. And then we have to discuss this breaking change in the days.
You want them to put them in, both into experimental. Okay.
And our join was an experimental, yeah, John?
Some were and some weren't.
So we're misleading, so
Yeah.
Everybody.
Unfortunately, because if we had it confined to experimental, then that's the reason I think we've got most of our tests in like the shared profile, which is effectively like you must pass this to pass the spec. But the things in experimental like boundary functions and join, we cordoned that off just because we still like if that changes in the edge FHIR spec, then that potentially breaks us, right? So we really want to confine to experimental until it gets into normative FHIR, I think.
But when the normative FHIR was published, do you remember? I think it's
they're balancing it now, right?
It's very
as
old.
part of R6.
Yeah, you mean the new FHIR path?
Yeah, I've been getting sort of Brian sending me tickets and all that sort of thing, but because I think the FHIR path is part of the R6 ballot, which is pretty much almost over. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So maybe this will be normative pretty soon.
Oh, that'd be good. We can move it out of experimental. All right. So that sounds like a good place for that one. Who wants to pick up the test for the Zulip thread?
I can do that if you like.
Okay. Thank you. All right. And then the last one of your list here is 289. Published package.
Yes. So this one, maybe you guys can help me understand what needs to be done here. So I went through this process to do a pull request on the IG registry repo.
Yes. And if Graham accepted, then it should be grabbed in package 2.
So SQL and FHIR is in here now, I believe.
Yeah, you can go to the package 2.fhir.org.
Package 2.
Packages 2. I think it's
packages 2.fhir.org. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two, it's a grams
It's
registry.
just like some sort of secret shadow registry.
No, it's listed in the registries in Confluence. And then you go to package server, and you can try to search here for SQL on FHIR. Yeah.
We might have to. Well, it will be.
You can try to go to get-ig.org. And this is our mirror. It's just has a better search. Yeah.
So this will actually be org.
No, I think maybe put on canonical package.
Okay.
Yeah, you know how Graham did it.
Oof.
So.
Well, maybe if I just search for SQL.
Control.
I can't see that it's here.
It's not getting there.
I
Control.
don't think it's here.
It is, to be honest, it is not. Yeah. And we probably have to tell Graham, because I go to, there's a getig.org, which we are supporting. It's a little bit more user friendly. So you can open it. And it mirrors, it's a get dash ig. I see.
Is it? I don't see SQL on FHIR there either.
Yeah. And here's a better search. And we are providing searching up to canonicals. So you can even search canonicals, but it's synchronized like every minute with the grams server. If it's not here, so then it's probably not in the gram server. And probably we have to tell Graham that it wasn't grabbed. I don't know why. Maybe because maybe Graham just grabbing the published releases. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Maybe we should create some tag. So org current should work. I don't know. It means that the name of the package. Yeah. It should. I think we should say yes, and then Graham will grab it. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's another important question. So we're gonna what versions are we gonna publish? So we want to publish the previous version, definitely, yeah. And then it shouldn't be current. It should be a specific version. It's gonna be 2.0.0, yeah. And then we need publish some build. And I'm not sure how they are published. In the is Graham grabbing the nightly builds or something like that, like daily builds, or you should create the special version, like minor or patch or something like that, to be grabbed. Can go to get.ig, for example. There's a history, so and
yeah, that seems.
Yeah, I think Graham only like indexing versions. So if you publish the patch on minor version, there is no such thing like publishing nightly packages or something like that. Continuous integration builds Canary.
All right. Okay. Well.
But we definitely need to be version 2.0.0 published, yeah, because it's
and that's on our sort of SQL on FHIR namespace.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we want that published for now, and then in the fullness of time, we will probably become this. But even between now and then, I think we should still be published.
And it will be part of core, yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the publishing history, and it's. I mean, we incremented to 2.1.0, and in the directory of published versions, it's still 2. The current shows 2.0.0. So we might be out of line there.
Well, our last release is 2.0.0. Our kind of current snapshot is 2.1.0, right? We haven't released that.
Sorry.
I mean, I imagine you could also have your edge thing in the registry as well, right? You're like a dev or sort of whatever type of version, but I think the main priority is getting our released version in the registry. Because, and the reason I noticed this is because I was just building some other IG and I noticed that in the output of the IG builder for any IG, there's an error that says it can't find SQL on FHIR. So I was like, oh, that's not very good.
So excuse me, follow up with Graham on publishing. What's the, I guess, can you go back to the Graham's repo there? I can't remember, just so I have the URL. IG register.
But that's strange. So, John, you said that Graham accepted pull request, but nothing happened.
Nothing showed up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so this is, so if we go to FHIR IG list, and you know, all the arcane workings of this thing, I don't completely understand, but we're in the FHIR IG list on main. I don't know whether there's a missing step or what, like you say, is there something about this that means that it's being filtered out?
No, that potentially should be published. I don't know, maybe just Graham missed it, didn't process for some reason. I don't know.
All right, so we'll need to investigate that at least for 2.0.
We just have to tell Graham that there is no SQL on FHIR IG 2.0.0. It is in the list, but it's not in the registry. So and ask why.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So we are time, and we got through all of those. Maybe next week we can kick off with May working group planning. Oh, and dev days too. So people are probably starting to think about dev days. Do you know when the deadline is for that?
I think it's 31st of January.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So start thinking about that. John, are you coming? Planning at least?
I was planning on it. I mean, the situation's not really getting any better. So I'm definitely going to be at working group meeting in Rotterdam. Dev days is kind of still a little bit up in the air. I'd like to go, but yeah, the circumstances are not making it easy.
I do not blame you.
And you guys, are you planning to go to Rotterdam in the May? We can make a checkpoint there.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know.
Steve, any chance to see you in Rotterdam?
I haven't planned on it yet, but I'd love to go. May?
Yeah, May.
Maybe.
It'll be fun.
A definite maybe.
Yeah, it should be fun, yeah.
All right, guys. Good meeting. All right, kicking things off for 2026. So big year. So nice to see you. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Okay. See ya.
All right. Bye.